Hello there, Commonwealth from. April marks the start of the final Nintendo fiscal year before the launch of the Nintendo Switch successor. And with it, there's a bigger possibility with Princess Peach Showtime out for a first-party Nintendo Direct. So be sure to leave a like, subscribe and press notification bell, and let's get into it. A Nintendo Direct with Nintendo games in April fits well with everything we've seen thus far. No Nintendo Direct or Mini with first-party Nintendo announcements in February and March. The last time this happened was in the Switch launch year, 2017. That year, the Nintendo Direct we had been waiting for came on the 12th of April. If the Nintendo Switch 2 is still to be revealed in June, then April 2024 could be the final time to get the reveals of the Switch's second half Nintendo lineup out and about. Especially since the February partner showcase had much like the April 2017 Nintendo Direct and brand new animation. Some have pointed out that this one is meant for Nintendo Switch successor, but it wouldn't surprise me if we get another, though this time Nintendo first-party Nintendo Direct before a review. The question is, April or June? Naturally, it depends on the reveal timing of the Nintendo Switch 2. But let's have a look at what we have at hand. Namely, that Nintendo has placed their cards on the table for the rest of the first half of 2024, that being the release dates of Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door on Thursday, May 23rd, and Luigi's Mansion 2 HD on Thursday, June 27th. Thursday being the new Friday for Nintendo. Nevertheless, what happens beginning from July is one giant mystery, as Nintendo is more secretive than ever. The first half of 2024 was fully taken up by Mario franchises, and that promises well for everything else, including The Legend of Zelda, which is closing on the 1-year anniversary of Tears of the Kingdom's launch, come May 12th. And that could probably bring some reveals. Not only that, for once things are different for Zelda. The November release window is wide open, since Pokemon Legends ZA is not coming out until next year, 2025. To put this opportunity into perspective, Zelda used to be a franchise with, at the very least, its Japanese releases in November or December. That changed after 2013, when A Link Between Worlds was the last Zelda game to date to launch in November. And interestingly enough, this game was revealed in April. But after that, all Pokemon generations took over the release slot from Zelda, that being November. In addition, we cannot forget that The Legend of Zelda didn't have any physical releases on Nintendo Switch in 2022. The answer as to why is obvious. Tears of the Kingdom was supposed to release here, perhaps for an October or in December release, until being delayed from 2022 to spring 2023. And what did November 2022 have? Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. The Tears of the Kingdom change might have pushed a different Zelda remake/remaster out of 2023 to, you guessed it, 2024. But what could the original 2023 Zelda plan have been? Well, we had 3 big anniversaries last year. The first being Ocarina of Time's 25th anniversary, a really big one. The second being the Wind Waker HD's 10th anniversary, and finally the 10th anniversary of A Link Between Worlds. Ocarina of Time has the 3DS remake that could be ported over. The same goes for the Wind Waker and Wii U's Wind Waker HD. It is just that why port a remake where you can bring over 3DS original that is not available on any other Nintendo system? That is right, A Link Between Worlds. A game that fills in perfectly the top-down remake that, let's be honest, is the next on the calendar with no Imprisoning War Hyrule Warriors title in sight. After all, it will be 5 years since the last top-down remake of Link's Awakening in September this year. Zelda is definitely a hot candidate, but so is Metroid, and just like with Zelda, here we also have 3 possibilities. The easiest for Nintendo is probably to continue through the Metroid Prime remastered titles. And after Prime 1 Remastered, we have Prime 2 Echoes. This sequel and second installment of the Metroid Prime trilogy actually came out in the fall of 2004 and is celebrating its 20th anniversary this year. If the other candidate, Metroid Prime 4, is still not ready, and just like the Switch 2 needs yet another year in the oven, then it is the absolutely perfect release to fill out between now and then. Metroid Prime 2 Echoes is a solid, though difficult sequel that has a ruthless dark world. That is right, we could have 2 titles with a light world and a dark world in the second half of 2024, and even be revealed in the same direct. all we need is A Link Between Worlds and Metroid Prime 2 Echoes. Still, there are Super Nintendo alternatives for both. A Link to the Past and Super Metroid. The latter celebrated its 30th anniversary this year, and guess what? It has never seen a remake on any Nintendo system. If there was a year for a remake for one of the best Super Nintendo titles, then it is this year, but only a potential April Direct will show. I'm still hoping for Metroid Prime 4 in 2024, but I do realize that it might be a pipe dream. Still, there was a different legendary game released on the Super Nintendo in the year of 1994, Donkey Kong Country, and would you look at that, it has been 6 years since we got Nintendo Switch version of Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, which Wii U original just turned 10 years old. A decade without a different Donkey Kong release than Tropical Freeze. Could we see a remake of the first country? Or are the bananas being saved for a brand new DK title on the Nintendo Switch successor? Personally, I would love to see the icon that is DK get a new title on the Nintendo Switch. He's never failed to sell with his mainline games and deserves a title of his own on Nintendo's soon-to-be best-selling system. But wait a minute, we had Mario vs DK, but that is not a real DK game, as we play as Mario against Donkey Kong, not as Donkey Kong. Since what we need is a Donkey Kong adventure. Seriously, if we can end 2024 and the Nintendo Switch with April reveals of a Zelda classic coming to the Switch, another Metroid, and finally DK, then we have a banger of a year. It is just that we need those reveals. But one more time back to Zelda, since we're not done with anniversaries, and one of them actually takes place this year in 2024. The Minish Cap, which is another top-down remake candidate for its 20th anniversary. The only problem is that it is already playable in a really good shape from Nintendo Switch Online expansion pack, and as a result it is more likely that the different Zelda game not present already on the Nintendo Switch digitally could be revealed. Either way, on to one other franchise. And in truth, I only see one option that has fittingly already been teased and brought up, including by Rogers Books. A new Fire Emblem Echoes remake, but this time of Genealogy of the Holy War. And with this game, just think of the variety that Nintendo can create with Zelda, Metroid and Fire Emblem titles in the second half of 2024, all being revealed in April and all leading up to Pokemon Legends ZA in 2025. A truly amazing lineup filled with anniversary remakes / remasters and across multiple different franchises. With Mario getting his fill in the first half of 2024 and all release dates for these in place, it is time for other Nintendo franchises to shine before Mario steals the spotlight yet again in 2025 with the next 3D Mario and or Mario Kart X. For what we know, it could already do it as early as June with the reveal of the Nintendo Switch 2. So let's end this video with why an April Nintendo Direct makes sense. Namely, getting the final Nintendo Switch reveals done before showing off the new system for the first time starting from June. A super start to the new fiscal year for Nintendo, and what is more, a clear strategy of not only supporting the Nintendo Switch into 2025, but also maintaining momentum by showing the plans both for the second half of 2024, but come June, for the next 7 to 8 years. That is to say, into the next decade. Starting in April, we're filling out the rest of 2024 with franchises and games we love, and then in June or September / October, giving us the 2025 and beyond games for the next system. This way, making sure that the Nintendo Switch does not collapse before passing the Nintendo relay baton to the successor. And that is how I see it. A possibility, but not necessarily what will happen in April. Only time will tell, and as a result, I will not make any more April Direct videos before an announcement, unless we get a major leak pretty much confirmed. But what do you think? Will we get a Nintendo first-party Nintendo Direct in April, shortly after Easter, to open the new April 2024 to April 2025 Nintendo fiscal year? Sound off in the comment section down below. If you haven't already, then be sure to leave a like, subscribe and press the notification bell to make this video more visible. Last but not least, a big thanks to all of our patreon.com/commonrealm patrons. Special shoutouts go to Raw producers Zach Johnson and JC Funk, and heroes Holly Wolf, Cheryl and Garrett Hoy. You rock, and please enjoy one or both of these two awesome videos.